you guys make sure you like this video and subscribe to Mike's, okay? Make sure if you don't subscribe to Mike, you're gonna have a fat forehead and a big hairline.
Bro, I'm with the guy Max inside. Subscribe to him, make sure you do still. Best content coming out. You know how it is.
Hello and welcome back to another video, people. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Make sure you're smashing the likes and subscribing if you are new. Thank you for the support as of recently. And yeah, I thought I'd discuss this because not only do I need a video for today, but I've been seeing bare debates about this. And I thought as a neutral point of view, I can give my own thoughts on this. Because basically with these two clubs, Liverpool and Manchester City, my whole thing is with them two is that they're probably the only two teams in the Big Six where I don't care if they win anything. And that's just me keeping it real. Because I've never cared about Liverpool in terms of, I've never had an opinion on them. I've never had an opinion on, like, their fans are a bit annoying at times. But just in general, I think I've never hated them. I've never like, oh my God, they're my second team or anything. I've never had that. So when they won the league this year, I was just glad it was an Arsenal, to be honest, because City weren't there. I liked some of their players in that. With Man City, obviously West Ham and Man City have a good relationship anyway. But it's not like on my days I'm gonna like be so biased towards Man City compared to Liverpool. I just say what I think. Now here's my thing with the transfer windows. I think they both are showing the intent you need. I think they're showing the intent you need to go and retain the title or go and get your crown back. Because Man City want their get back. Liverpool, on the other hand, want to win 2 in a row. Which I can't remember well, just in general, not even just Premier League. When was the last time Liverpool won 2 in a row? Because I don't remember. Obviously, I'm a Premier League guy. I was born in the Premier League era, so I can't go that far back. I'm not a historian like that, with all due respect. But with these two teams, when they went like band for band almost in the Pep Klopp era, it was tough to call which team was going to get over the line. It was tough. When it was defined by 1 point, when it was like Gundogan at the last day of the season, like it was mad. It was mad. And Pep and Klopp used to push each other. Now we've got Pep and Slot. Slot's shown that he's a very good tactician. He adapts to certain games, and that I think what Liverpool did well last season as well is that they managed the dip. So as much as they did crash out of a few competitions, they still got over the line with the league because not only because they were clear, but they should have signed players last season. They had a squad that was always going to dip due to the fact that they were running players into the ground, but they still managed it. Now, what Slot probably wants is to manage on all competitions, which is why he's probably got more players in now. Not him necessarily, but you know what I mean? Liverpool, the actual club. It's good to see Liverpool spend because I didn't really want to see a team go up like that and then just crash out for no reason and just not sign anyone. I didn't think they were going to be as serious as they were. So they've signed Kirkes, Wirtz, and Frimpong so far. And I'm curious to know how they're going to use them to touchline fullbacks specifically. I thought they were going to sign like a centre-back sort of player that can play on one side and then they'll cut in. It'll be a 3 in possession and one will just fly down the line and whatever. But they've signed 2 flying fullbacks. So maybe they'll play a box within the centre-backs and midfield and let them just fly on. Salah will go more on the inside because Salah's good, yeah, on the touchline. He's added creativity to his game and all that. But at the same time, you want Salah in the pockets. You want Salah in shooting range. You want Salah just to shoot on goal. That's what you want Salah to do. Not the opposite. Not the opposite, really. He can create, but that's not his primary, strengths. What I will say is that those are really good signings. I like Frimpong. I do like Frimpong. I think from what I've seen of him, is very part-time compared to the Bundesliga, the people that watch the Bundesliga, etc. But I do like him. Obviously, I think he'd be more suited in a 3 at the back formation because he's one of them players where he's not necessarily a out-and-out winger or an out-and-out fullback. But the midfield is going to have to do a lot of work regardless because Kirkes and Frimpong could get up and just cross and run at players and stuff. There's a lot of people, by the way, that don't watch Bournemouth, so they're out here saying that Kirkes cannot cross and Kirkes cannot cross. Kirkes cannot defend. Kirkes can defend. I know the guy looks small, he looks fragile, but when you buck him, usually most wingers don't really get past him. They don't really get past him. So there's a lot of disrespect on Kirkes' name, in my opinion. In my opinion, that's just me though. That's just me. I think Kirkes is a really good player. I've liked Kirkes since West Ham faced Alkmaar, and I got to witness his performances in person. I thought this guy's unbelievable. This guy's absolutely sensational. And the Bournemouth got him. I was like, that's a great signing. It's a great signing. Um, Bournemouth's recruitment has been really good as well, but we'll get onto that another time. For me as well, like for example, with Florian Wirtz as well. Florian Wirtz is a really good signing from what I've seen. I've seen only a couple games, to be honest with you. I haven't watched Wirtz enough to give you like a full decipher analysis on him. I'm just being real. That's how I am. Like I'm not gonna fake the fact that I've watched bare games. I've watched him same amount as Frimpong probably. I do like him. I do like him, but I've always said this when we discussed this live. There's no point signing Wirtz for that amount of money if you're not going to sign a striker because there's only a certain amount of players where you can really create. And Liverpool are going to score goals regardless of the quality they actually have up front. Nunes is probably leaving. Listen, Luis Diaz, Gakpo, and Jota aren't the worst of options, but just a striker added to that, they're so clear. They're probably going to win the league as it is right now at this current moment in time, unless City gets maybe adds that one more like mad player that could like change games for them. It looks like it's going to be Liverpool right now, but there's no point if you want to compete on all fronts. So then sign Wirtz and not get a striker. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. But listen, I think they've done really well so far. For me, I would still, in my opinion, again, in my opinion, I'm always saying in my opinion, I would like to see them sign a proper number 6 still. The reason why I say that is because, cool, McAllister, Gravenberch, Wirtz is still a good midfielder. You're going to control the ball a lot and retain the ball a lot. But having that number 6, that ball winning up dog, that just kicks the shit out of players and, like, you know, them Caicedo, Rice, Rodri, you know, them type of players. You need a 6. Like, Chelsea, Arsenal, City have them 6s. Like, I know we're not just talking about Arsenal or Chelsea, but they have them 6s where, like, yeah, they're dogs. They're dogs, but they're technical as well. People are going to be like, oh, Rice ain't technical. Rice is technical. He just doesn't pass in between the lines. It doesn't mean he's not technical. He's a technical player. Not his forte, but he's got technical ability. So take it how much you will. But I still think Liverpool will need that as at least an option. I get McAllister, Gravenberch, and Wirtz can be the starting midfield. But adding that number 6 alongside, I think could do wonders for them. Obviously, they probably want centre-back depth as well. It looks like they're trying to get Mark Guéhi in replacement for Kwanzaa. I don't understand the people that are saying that they would rather keep Kwanzaa and not get Mark Guéhi. Mark Guéhi is a really good player, and he would suit being in Liverpool's defence, playing alongside them type of defenders, because centre-backs are all about partnerships, and Mark Guéhi benefits more of them Van Dijk, Konate type players. And he will bring leadership whilst being a young player, and he's a young player with experience. So it's not like you're going to get like quite a few years out of him, like a lot. Like he's like 24, 25. He might even be 23. But I'd like anyone that signs Mark Gay, I'm here for it. But also, especially if you're signing him alongside a centre back, that's a dog. Like they've got Konate and Van Dijk. I don't believe in Konate. I don't think Konate is going to leave. So Konate, Gay, Van Dijk are very good options. Very, very good options. And getting Kwanzaa out the door. I've never really read Kwanzaa, so I don't really understand the whole hoo-ha. But let me get on to Manchester City now. Ryan Cherky, Reinders, Ait Nouri. I want to say that's it so far. They're trying to get a right back, I'm pretty sure. And I think they'll be set after that because they've got options now. I don't know who's leaving. I don't know who in the midfield's leaving. They've got quite a few midfielders now that they've got Reinders. And they've got Cherky in the 10. Bernardo Silva's been named as captain. And to be fair to Bernardo Silva, even though he didn't have his best season last season, I do really like Bernardo Silva. He didn't have a good season last season, but one thing you can say, you hear him talk, he holds the club to the standard that you want to hear from fans. You want to hear from footballers. Like obviously, the typical stereotype is when you're hearing about footballers and stuff, is they don't usually like give you what you want to hear in certain interviews and stuff. But at the same time, Bernardo Silva doesn't do that. what Bernardo Silva does, he'll talk about what City are lacking within that season. He might even crash out at times. Sometimes it's good to see a bit of emotion in the footballers because they want to show emotion, but they're very restricted. But due to the fact that every club has got their own media team, they want to keep the club to a certain image, etc. They don't really want talking points because they know that the media are already going to make talking points out of them already. It's common sense. But Bernardo Silva is definitely a captain material type player, and it's the first time I'm pretty sure Pep was the other day. It's the first time he's chosen a new captain, where it's like instead of a leadership group where they had like Company, Diaz, Gundogan, etc. Whoever it was at the time playing for Manchester City, he's picked an outright captain. So they've got Silva, Gundogan, Kovacic, Reinders, Rodri, Nico Gonzalez, Cherky at a 10, Foden at a 10. That's pretty much it. I think they've got quite a few options. I'm assuming one of Gundogan or Kovacic will leave. I think Kovacic could be a good squad player because I don't think him starting week in, week out benefited them, but he does turn up in the games where he can get a goal, etc. And I think he plays really well against a natural number 6. Now with Marmoush, Bob, Doku, and Savio, as your winger options, it's not the greatest, but you can make it work if you've got good enough midfield around it and you've got good enough fullbacks. I'm curious to know how Pep is going to set up with Aït-Nouri being the fullback that he signed. Now, with those wingers, I don't rate Doku, but I think he'd be a good option coming off the bench. I want to see what Savio can do in the next season. I know a lot of people going in on him already, but I would like to see what he can do. I think Oscar Bob, if he's eased back in, he could really make a name for himself. He was meant to be a starter last season. Then we've got Marmoush who can play across the main 4 positions up front, second striker, number 10-ish, both wings and a striker. So I think those are good enough options. Maybe they would like to add one more winger, and I would understand that because they did lack goals from there. But as much as Haaland is a good goal scorer, I do think they actually should give him the ball more, funny enough. So with Aït-Nouri, Cherky, and Reinders, and I've not actually ever watched Reinders, so I can't tell you anything about him, to be completely honest. I've heard from other people that have watched him that said he's a good player, but I don't think I've watched a single game from Reinders, unless it's like he's appeared in the Netherlands game that I've probably watched, and I just haven't remembered his performance like in the Euros or the World Cup or whatever. But I can't remember watching Reinders in my time, so I wouldn't be able to give you much of an opinion on that. And a couple of times I've watched Ryan Cherky, I've been really impressed. I like both-footed players. I like them type of players that are creative and both-footed. I think you're never going to be able to replace what Kevin De Bruyne gives you, but it's good to have a different type of number 10 that's going to stay close to the striker and takes games by the scruff of the neck and call Pep plays how Pep plays. So it's not always going to be the same. But at the same time, it could work. It could definitely work. I think that's a good signing. Aït-Nouri, I'm going to be honest here, he's a good footballer, like natural ball to feet. He's a good footballer, but I don't think it's a good signing. And I think Kirkis is the better signing if we're comparing the 2 transfer windows. I think Kirkis is way better than Aït-Nouri because Aït-Nouri cannot defend in the back 4. This guy will get murked by wingers if the midfield don't do their job to recover from that. I'm assuming the way Pep's going to play, he's going to let Aït-Nouri fly down the wing and just let him have freedom in the midfield, and Gavardio will cover the spaces, etc. I'm assuming that's what they're going to do. Gavardio will cover the wide areas when they hit on transition, and Rodri will win the ball because Rodri's back as well. It's going to be tough, though, because despite what I've just said about Manchester City there, I still like the transfer window as a package and what they're trying to do and the fact that they're serious. I know partly that's because of the Club World Cup, because they haven't won a trophy in the official 24-25 season. They want to bounce back and try and win that trophy. They're going to probably be serious for that trophy. So I respect that quite a lot. But I still think it'll be tough. I still think it'll be close next season. I think overall, deciphering both transfer windows, I think Liverpool have had the better transfer window so far. But I do think it's not over in terms of what Manchester City are trying to do. I think also with Aït-Nouri, if he plays like how I think he's going to play, I think he'll be gone from City either next season or the season after, if I'm being so honest. Because the thing is with Aït-Nouri is he is a good player, like going forward, but he's one of them players where, again, he's like a bit like Frimpong, I guess, in a sense where he's not a winger, but he's not a defender. He's a wing back. Like, I want to play this guy in the front three. He's not good enough to. You actually got to be good in the front three to play in the front three. You've got to have good final third play. You've got to have good decision making going forward. It's simple as that. But being a left back like that, where you're so used to being playing in the three at the back, and a few times you did play in the four at the back, you got absolutely cooked. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for him to settle in. And as you know, even when it's a Premier League proven player or whether it's a player that's been signed from abroad, every player has to take a season to adapt to what Pep's trying to do. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Pep does and how he outlines his City team. But City need to have a really good season. For me, for the standard of what Man City are, they need to win 2 trophies next season to get back to where they should be. Because they won 1 trophy the season before. They won 0 trophies and lost against Crystal Palace, their first ever trophy in the FA Cup final. So for me, next season, I'm going to have to watch this Man City team very closely. Because they're serious, but question marks will have to be asked of Pep otherwise. Not necessarily in terms of like, oh, this guy's a fraud or whatever. But fucking fly in my room. But what I will say is, the past couple of seasons haven't been to Man City standard, and they've probably learned that from the previous transfer windows and the old crop of their squad. So they've got to fix up next season, and I hope for their sake they do. But Liverpool, again, it was 1 trophy last season. So let's see how many competitions they take seriously this time. They lost to Newcastle in a Carabao Cup final as well. They need to take domestics more serious and cool against PSG Champions League. You can say, okay, PSG were the better team. It is what it is. Newcastle were also the better team, but nobody's expecting Newcastle to beat Liverpool as well. Then again, nobody's expecting PSG to beat anyone, as they haven't really done well in the Champions League as of late. So it is what it is. I'm looking forward to both of their transfer windows as well. I'm going to keep an eye on them. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think City are having a better transfer window or Liverpool? Because I'm saying Liverpool right now. Make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. The email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.